Okay, people, I had to get my other homegirl. Kate Pay came on earlier, and she said she was my homegirl too. She didn't know I was from the Bay Area, but Charmin knows I'm from the Bay Area, so that is my true homegirl. So, how you doing, Coach? What's going on there? What's going on in the Yay area?
In the Yay area. I'm doing great, loving being in the Bay, the East Bay in particular. Got a solid group working hard right now and, just trying to get ready for the season.
Okay, well, good stuff. Let's get into it because I know you're busy and I only get a certain amount of time with you. You know, you started off. I bet met you when you were an assistant coach working
Mhm.
up under Lindsay over at Cal, and now you the head WOC in charge. How
Mhm.
has that changed a little bit in your responsibility? I know some of the responsibility has changed, but how has it changed for you in the leadership role now, coming from an assistant to the head coach?
Yeah, it's really different. And you hear as an assistant how different it is moving over those, a certain number of inches and things. And I didn't really think much of it because I wasn't really intending on being a head coach. I was very happy with my role as, Lindsay's right hand, and we accomplished a lot of great things together. And when she left for the Cavs and this opportunity was presented to me, it really wasn't like, oh yes, I've been dreaming of this all my life. It was really like, oh wow, this is a feeling of obligation and pressure, more so, to be 100% honest with you.
Uh-huh.
To be the first black female head coach at Cal, to be a black female head coach at a Power 5 institution at the time. We don't get these opportunities very often. um,
Preach.
so yeah, there was a lot of pressure, and I didn't know if I wanted to do it, but I felt an obligation to take
Okay.
advantage of this opportunity. And it's been more than what I could have ever imagined. In positive ways, I love the impact that I can have on the lives of young people. I love the challenges. I needed new challenges. I'd been in Cal for 12 years as an assistant, and learning how to be a head coach on the fly, essentially what I was doing. And I think I really grew, and I think I really am excelling in this role. I enjoy it a lot, but it is very different. One of the ways in which I miss is like that relationship that you can have when you're the assistant coach. It is very different because they don't fear you as much, and they're just like more open. And so I have to do more work to
Uh-huh.
build the connections that I want with my players, because I'm the one that ultimately determines whether they play or not. Right.
Right.
So that's the one thing that I miss, is just that ease of connection, just being an assistant. And I work on that constantly with my team.
All right. Well, tell me this. I talk to a lot of coaches, and it just amazes me how I asked this question. I said, "Did you really want to be a coach? Did you, when you first came, did you want to be a coach?" And so many of them said, "I didn't even start off wanting to be a coach."
Yeah.
But Kay did. Kay came out. She knew she was going to be a coach. But did you know you wanted to be a coach coming out of college and out of the pros?
No, no. And I thought Kate went and got her
Law
business
degree.
law
Law
degree and all
degree.
kinds of stuff. Hey, why you get all that if you're gonna coach? I did the same thing. I ran around getting a master's in civil and environmental engineering, but I promise you, I had no intentions of coaching basketball. I
Really?
was playing basketball, and I had no intentions of playing professional. You want to know why? Because when I was in school, in high school, there was no WNBA.
Right.
And so I wasn't going to go to Germany or Turkey. I was like, cool, cool. I got 4 years to play and get the best education possible. That's what I was trying to do. Basketball is just the means to get the best education possible, have that thing paid for. So, that's how I ended up at Stanford. And then my junior year is when Tara took off and went to coach the Olympic team. And the WNBA popped off that summer. We got next, and Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Swoops. And I was like, wait a minute. You mean I can, still play professionally after college and I don't have to go to another country to do so? That's what shifted playing for me, to where I was
Yeah.
like, I want to keep playing. I knew I loved the game. I want to keep playing. So then I'm playing for like 3 years and some change in the W, and then I got cut uh, in Seattle, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew that um, I loved playing basketball, and I got to the point where I wasn't healthy enough to continue to make a roster. So I kept getting cut.
Yeah.
Phoenix picked me up, they let me go. I was like, oh. So I remember being back at Stanford working Stanford basketball camp, and I was like, Tara, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'd gone on a job for engineering because that was my plan. And it was a really good project management position, like excellent job, what I thought I wanted. And I was nervous, shaking, dizzy, sweaty, like this during the interview. And I'm good with public speaking. Like I can talk, I'm good on interviews. But I wasn't ready to walk away from basketball. So when I'm chatting with Tara, she said, "Well, Charmin, I think you'd be a really good coach." And in that moment, I kid you not, I was like, "No, I don't want to coach. I'm not trying to do what you do. Like, I don't want to do that." And she's like, "No, really, trust me. I think you'd be a really good coach." And, I didn't have anything else to do and I didn't have any money. So I was like, Tara made a phone call. And when Tara makes a phone call, you get hooked up.
Yeah.
And Kathy Inglis hired me at Boston College. And my first year was the best year in program history. We beat Diana Taurasi's UConn Huskies. We go on to the Big East championship. We beat Rutgers, win the Big East tournament, get to the Sweet 16, lose to Lindsay Whalen and Janelle McCarville at Minnesota. And I'm like, wow, this coaching thing's kind of cool. You beat Gino, you think you're kind of cool.
Did you ever mention that to him? Said, you remember when you see him out? You remember
no, when he retires, we still might play him now. But so that was it. That was 23 years ago. Then Tara called that May and got me back to Stanford. Spent 3 years at Stanford, and then the rest has been at Cal. And when I started, then I knew, okay, this is cool. I like this job. But it also took me time to get over the fact that I wasn't going to be a doctor or an engineer. Because that's how, like, it wasn't what my parents instilled in me, but in my mind, I needed to be an engineer or a doctor to have something that like meant something.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while to realize that coaching basketball is another way of building bridges. I wanted to build bridges as a civil engineer, and coaching basketball and having an impact on the young lives of people and treating student athletes, my goal is to treat them better than I was treated at sometimes, whether it be at the professional level or whatever. That's building bridges, and you have a huge impact on the lives of people, and that's extremely important. So I've finally, realized, like, no, this is a good job, and this is an important job, and it's important for people to see people like me in this type of job.
WOC.
Right.
Definitely. Well, I tell you, I've known you for a while, and I've known you to be a character. You like California lady, so it's all good. I had to peel the layers back to make sure my girl's all good. But how was it overseas? Let's chop into your stuff, and then we're gonna get into some good meaty stuff too. But overseas for a minute, we just gonna get into your stuff overseas. You played for a few years over there, and then you decided I'm done.
Yeah. I played a year in Sweden. And this is when I was still trying to, be a professional basketball player. And that year was one of the best years in my life. To be honest with you, because I wasn't, Sue Bird, I wasn't, Nafisa Collier. I didn't get treated that well in the league. And when I went overseas, it felt like college again. Like I had teammates that, wanted to hang out. I had coaches that, checked on me and cared about me. Like it was a different feel. And I loved being in Sweden. It wasn't highly competitive, but we had fun. We made it to the championship, lost in the championship to a club called Nolata. I still blame that loss on me because I should have been more aggressive in the second half. But it was fun. I got to shoot all the time. I never did that at Stanford.
Had you on a shot clock, man. You were like, nah. When you play D, you long defensive, and you were guarding the best player.
Exactly. Lock people up and then set screens and pass the ball. That's what I did in the W and at Stanford. In Sweden, I got to shoot average, I don't know, a lot of points a game. I was a baller over there, and that was a lot of fun. And my teammates were great, hanging out, watching movies, like all the stuff that reminded me of the college feel. So I really loved it. I loved the food. It was fun trying to learn a new language. It was a really good experience.
Oh, good stuff. Now, does that help you in recruiting now? Because I know you like West. I call West Worldwide West, but I'm calling you Worldwide too, because you're coming in with girls from everywhere. Does that overseas experience help you in your recruiting now, especially in this tough recruiting climate? You got to be worldwide.
Yeah, I think it does. And also my staff. I mean, they're excellent with internationals. Like Trey Bryant's on my staff has played overseas for, over a decade. And, he speaks to our Greek students. He still knows the language from being in Greece. And Jenny, Eliza, like everybody, Heidi, like we've got people who are just very worldly. And so, yeah, 2 years ago, we had 7 internationals on our team. I think we're headed back in that direction. And our community embraces the international.
Just Berkeley.
Exactly. Like everybody knows Berkeley all over the world.
Yeah.
And we have a great international flavor here.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Berkeley is always a special place in my heart, too. My mother-in-law went to the Bolt. I told you that years ago. That she went to Bolt, graduated, and my niece went to Cal. And so we've got a Cal connection there. So let's get into some good stuff. Now, if I'm a bowler and you like me and you want to come and get me, what would you say to me to get me? I'm a baller, and you like my game. Why would I want to come from play? Why would I want to come play for Charmin?
Yeah, you want to come to Cal, number one, because you want to have an immediate impact, and you want to put your name on something. And that's what we're telling people right now is like, come put your name on something. I think, not to sell anybody else's program, but it's a great example of what Juju did at USC. And I tell people I'm looking for my Juju Watkins. Like,
no, you got that from you up here pumping State Farm. I want my Juju.
I need my Juju. Like, come here and put your name on this program. Be the reason why, right? We're a really good team. We finished 1 game out of 4th in the ACC. We made it back to the NCAA tournament. We're a really good team. We beat NC State. We beat Florida State. We beat, Alabama. I need that next level player that's going to help me beat Duke, beat Notre Dame, and get to cutting down nets like we did with Eliza's Final Four team, right?
Yeah. I watched your games. Every game you just said, I watched.
Right.
Every game you said, I watched the floor. I was like, what the heck is up with Florida State? They coming on 4 hours. They got to make that adjustment.
Give us some credit, man.
No, it wasn't that. I was like, y'all flying over here on this West Coast. You guys better let me get some sleep and learn how to make that trip. They took a bad hit. They lost to Stanford too that weekend.
Yeah, we were ready for them.
Yeah, they got to get that going.
Just having someone that wants that type of role, not to join in somewhere where it's already been done, like help us get back and do it here. And then in terms of playing for me, like if you mess with me, then you got somebody that messes with you for life. Like I ride for you. I fight hard for my student athletes, my family, right? Whatever it is that you need, whether that's making the phone call to help you get that position, in the financial district, or whether it's calling those GMs and, coaches and stuff to help you basketball wise, like I'm all in on my players. And I've learned over the years that all I have to do is be me, and people who resonate with me will end up here at Cal. And if you don't, then honestly, I don't want you because I'm going to be
Cal's a different fit. It's you got to be a certain fit to go to Cal and go to Stanford and those type of schools. Personality wise, but it's a great place. But you tapped into something and you read my questions. You said the word GM. You got Megan over there working. I know how is it? I know she's hustling for you. She's overseas. She's doing her thing. I got a chance to meet her and had her on the show a couple months back. How did that come to fruition?
Well, I've known Megan for a long time now. I don't know, 8 or 9 years or so, I think. And every time I'd see her, I'd be like, look, you want to get home, come holler at me, because I knew the work she was doing for Courtney. I knew the work she did at Princeton, at UNC. I knew that she was really good. I knew that she was someone that would help me and be a good piece to my staff. And then as things developed with the house settlement and rev share, and speaking with, my colleagues, Lindsay Gottlieb and other people, I was like, man, this GM position, talking to Joni Taylor about it, like this GM position is something that we need in women's basketball. Yeah. It's going to be
absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Wow. I think Megan has the skill set to do something and to be really impactful in that role, whether it's development and helping us raise money, whether it's having those conversations with student athletes so that I can stay in a more transformative role as opposed to transactional. I just thought she was a perfect fit. And, she felt like it was the right time for her to get back to the West Coast. And I said, here we go.
I told her she talking about she was from the Bay Area. I said, wait a minute, it's the Yay area. When you're from the Bay Area, it's the Yay area. So it's like that,
Right.
So, but I tell you, I met Megan, and I know. Wait a minute, you see my tag there, right there, that GM tag, right?
I do.
Okay. When we get off mic, I'm gonna tell you why I think I'm a GM.
Okay.
Even if I'm like a cartoon GM or something, or a barbershop GM.
Well, good.
Hey, well, check this out. This one is a tight, tough subject.
Okay.
The Pac-12.
Yeah.
Man, I'm talking to Kelly about it. And I'm hating the Pac-12 is gone. What's your feel? I know it's business and all of that, but
yeah,
let's talk about the difference between the two, Pac-12 and then the ACC. But let's talk about, first of all, what your feeling was about the Pac-12 is one of the top two conferences in the country, and I'm hating it. It's not still here.
Yeah, I think it's horrible. I think the Pac-12 was the best conference in college athletics.
Don't tell Joni that.
Well, I love Joni, but I'm happy to debate this. And I'll tell you why. First of all, I think there's going to be a 30 for 30. The demise of the Pac-12, like how we messed it up so royally. Yeah. And I know who the main character is, but I'm not going to talk about that main character right now. But I'll tell you why the Pac-12 was the best conference in college athletics. Number one, the most championships. It's called the Conference of Champions for a reason. Right? The most championships of any conference. And then if you want to talk women's basketball specifically, it's really because there were only 12 teams and every single team was fighting for an NCAA tournament every single year, right? Like that was a goal. You may have 1 or 2 years, like my first year, like, okay, like we weren't very good, but there was COVID and other things that happened during that time. In general, you cannot have a night off in the Pac-12. Right? You cannot go like, oh, well, we play in Stanford and we're going to think about Stanford, but we're not going to think about Cal. You cannot go and say, oh, we're going to play Washington. We're not going to think about Washington State. I mean, we were 10th heading out of the conference and we were still on the bubble. Mm-hmm. And the top seed in the WNIT. We're the 10th team in the conference. There's only 2 left. And Washington State was another one. And they were also a legitimate bubble team in the NCAA tournament. Right? So every single night you were playing an NCAA tournament team. You were playing ranked opponents. You were playing against top WNBA draft picks every single night. Yeah. Every other conference, the reason our conference is was better, because in every other conference, there's some time when South Carolina feels like they got a gimme. There's some time where Duke feels like they got a gimme because there's so many teams. We do not have 18 teams in the ACC that are coming into the season thinking NCAA tournament. It's just, and that's not a disrespect to any of the teams. We've had our time where, we might have our time where that's not the goal necessarily. We don't even get everybody into the ACC tournament.
Right.
Well, we only have 15 teams making the tournament. So in terms of, parity and the depth, there's nothing that could compete with the Pac-12. Now, when you talk about the top teams, then the SEC has had South Carolina and Texas, and UConn has been there. That's just the top teams. That does not necessarily make you the top conference.
Mm-hmm. I got you. Well, one of my things when I watched it over the years and being a barbershop GM, I felt the collaboration amongst the team, the coaches. You guys had a vibe and y'all shared information. That type of thing I thought was very, very interesting for the Pac-12. We got JB, JR, you. Yep. You guys were you guys just didn't hoard the information to be successful in the NC2A. You guys shared that information. And I thought that was very intriguing for me when I learned that and did some research on the Pac-12 when I was studying the Pac-12.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting.
That experience is unique. I haven't really experienced that moving on, to the ACC. I don't know what Lindsay and Corey and Kelly are experiencing. But we did really buy into Back the Pack. Right. Yeah. It was a hashtag Back the Pack, and we supported one another in ways. There's sometimes where, there were rivalries that, were chippy and such. And but for the most part, we wanted our conference to continue to elevate. And yeah, it was a really special thing. And it's a shame because it'll never come back.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to get their reversion of it, but it is not going to be the Pac-12. I don't care. Well, I saw some of the teams and that's not going to be the real Pac-12. But what's the difference? You done played all this time in the Pac-12. Now you're in the ACC.
Yeah.
Which is, ACC, they top heavy,
Yeah.
they're top heavy too.
I would say I love the ACC, and I'm really thankful for our chancellor and our athletic director at the time for working really hard to get us to the AC. The style of play is comparable. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think the SEC is more bigger bodies and more physical. The ACC, I think it's more athletic than the Pac-12. So that's been an adjustment for us. I think it's a guard heavy league, like
Oh, off the
uh,
top.
yeah, I mean, some of them left, but you had Ladson and, you had these such dynamic guards, still have Hidalgo. So it is a fun conference. I'm enjoying it. It's highly competitive and,
Zoe Brooks.
Zoe Brooks. I mean, yeah, NC State had several.
They're guard
It's,
heavy.
yeah, it's a fun conference to be in, and I just want people to recognize that we've got some people as well, and I want you to be like, oh, Lulu Twidell, like, whoa, she can shoot. Hey, she's added more to her game. So we're excited to be in such a dynamic conference with really good teams like Duke and UNC and Notre Dame and Virginia Tech, Virginia, all of them. It's a special conference.
It's exciting. I love watching. I love women's basketball. I just love it. I started on the boys' side, but as I gravitated to the women's and coached and direct and all I did, women's basketball is a good space right now. And what type of player can you get? Because I know we talked off the record at tournaments like Carrie. Hey, I'd be like, I got a girl I want you to look at. First thing came out, can she play in the ACC, Carrie?
Yeah.
First thing came out to you didn't want to know her name. You're like, can she play in the ACC? And
right.
can she play D? So what type of what is that type of player are you looking for? I know you're looking for the next Juju or the player that wants to strike out on their own and set their own mark. But what type of, now you can't recruit, but to me, Pac-12 has skillful girls, a lot of skillful players in the Pac-12. And sometimes you got to blend those European girls and the skillful girls and basically the dogs. Get you a few dogs, pit bulls in there that can get down there like you was in college and sit down and guard up.
Yeah, I think there's a place for all of it. I mean, if you look at our team last year, that was an NCAA tournament team. We had a dog in Jada Noble. We had, skillful, more finesse play in Martha Suarez, right? We had Michelle, who was an athletic post who could jump up and get rebounds and do all this. We had Yo, who was our Steph Curry shooting from half court, right? Like, we put it all together in a really special blend that made us really hard to beat. So that's our job as coaches. I want ballers. You can be skilled. You can be a dog. You can be athletic. You can be fundamental, whatever it is. If you know how to play, we're going to find a place for you within our system and make you look good and put you in positions in which you can be successful. But you have to be able to compete at a high level in the ACC. You got to have ACC motor. You got to have ACC care factor, work ethic, drive, like all of those things. To me, is how you get to be special, right?
Is it hard to find that kid like that because of the academics requirements at Cal? Because
I don't think so.
You got to have a certain academics and your graduation in terms of transfers and all that. We'll maybe get into that, but because of transferring and the academics at Cal, is that tough, or is that what Megan's supposed to be finding out now?
I mean, we've been doing a great job at it. We've done a great job in recruiting, and we have all types of people here. I think there's this notion that, it's so hard academically. No, like, listen, I went to Stanford because I was a nerd, right? But I don't know anybody who's ever asked me what my GPA was. They know that I went to Stanford and got that degree. Now, I'll tell you, I did really well academically, but that's because I'm a nerd. I don't need all my players to be nerds. I need them to be ballers that understand the importance of the degree. That's it. I want you to be a baller. I want you to get up extra shots. I want you to be in the gym, but then understand, like, I got to go to class and get the degree, but I don't need you to be a rocket scientist and, stressed out about basketball all the time. About academics all the time. That's not what we have here. We have people who are passionate about basketball and want to win and want to elevate this program and take it to the next level. And they also want to walk away with something that's bigger than basketball, and that will protect them in case they lose basketball.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah. And that ball's going to stop dribbling at one point, and you're going to have to do something with it. And I think that the type of players, I think young ladies and people try to educate people on that. Hey, it's just not about the bag, or
Yeah.
about this, about your the culture you want to be on, the type of coach you with,
Hmm.
getting to know your coach, because there is a new way of recruiting right now, Charm. I'm
Yep.
telling you, it is. I've been in this business for a minute now, and I believe that you can't just sit on a kid with your at the tournament and have your jersey or your collar on with
Mhm.
Cal or whoever. I just use you as an example. I
Yep.
think that these players and parents and that I've talked to, they want to. And I was talking to Shy about this over at overtime. You need to get to know the story of that player. You
Yeah.
know that player, get to know that player, know their story, know what ticks with them, build a relationship, especially in this portal crap, that you have to get to know them and try to understand them as people and as players. I don't know if you feel anything about that, but I firmly believe that.
I agree 100%. It's about the relationships, and we work hard to cultivate those relationships and get to know people. One of the issues is the transfer portal. I got 2 days to get to know you before you make a decision.
Quick dating, speed
The portal
dating.
has elevated or escalated the timeline. It's so much faster now. So that's an interesting piece here, and we've gotten lucky thus far. Like Sakima Walker is a gem. I love her as a person. I trusted Dawn. She said, yes, Charmin, she can help you win games, and yes, she's a good person. Okay, let's go. Miracle Shepherd is we got good people. Naya, like, and I feel lucky because there are some people who get it wrong in the portal.
Yeah.
But we continue to get it right, and we're going to continue building this thing with the right people. And I think that's the recipe for success. But not every baller is meant to be coached by me. They're not, right. Like, sometimes it's not a good fit. But when I get the right ones, we win games.
I got you. I got you. Well, you tapped into something about Don giving you a player. I think, and here's something else I think is important. And I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. The WOCs have got to partner together in this
Mhm.
business. You guys got to partner together, and not hold petty grudges, and not that there are any out there, but I think that will strengthen what you guys are trying to achieve. And I was talking to Joni about that, and I was talking to Coach over at Kentucky, and Joni Harris at Baylor, and William and Mary. What's her name? Boo Williams' sister. So
Mhm.
we were all talking, and I just believe that the WOCs, and you see what's happening in the WNBA right now. The WOCs have got to come together and just, hey, like, be a Pac-12 kind of like,
Yeah.
and help out with that area. Do you think about that in terms of mentoring?
I do. I mean, we have things at the Final Four where we try to provide mentorship to young women of color who are coaching. I mean, if I have a question, I'm not sure of something. I can think of 3 times this summer that I called Joni and said, Joni, this is what's going on. Even my contract negotiation that happened in the spring. I was like, Joni, I need your help, and she's someone that I trust.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've been recruiting the same kid. We got Taylor Barnes, and then she got Webster in the portal. And I was like, okay, good job, Joni, congratulations. And
Yes, it's enough for everybody can eat.
yeah, so I echo that sentiment. And there are several people. Jada at Texas Tech. We were just chatting today. I will say, like, the student athletes can help us out too, if you don't mind me sharing. Like, I
No,
had
absolutely.
one
They got
family.
to be aware. They have to be aware, conscious of stuff.
They were going somewhere else, and that school isn't important. And the family said to me, Coach, I feel bad. We really are rooting for all the Black female, head coaches, and I want to see you be successful, and I'm wishing you the best. And da da da. And I said, well, what would really help all the Black female coaches to be successful is if you came to play for a Black
Yes,
female head coach.
yes, absolutely. I say that too. I'm like, what are you
Some of that,
doing? Go over
like,
here.
and it's I think it's a special sorority type thing where we're here. And I also think for women, I'm gonna say that too. We have a lot of male coaches in our field, and I respect them. And I think it is something different to play for a female, to be coached by a female. It's a different experience, and some people need that. And then there's some that are like, they need more of something that a male provides. And I guess you got to respect both things.
Well, I say female coaches should be coaching females. I was
Yeah.
talking to Kim Powell over at the Essence, and I had a good conversation about that,
Mhm.
about female coaches coaching and female coaches in ESPN rankings and female coaches in directories
Yeah.
and as club directors. So that tied in with each other a little bit. But let's have some fun too. Let's have some real fun here. I saw you on campus doing the electric slide. I'm like, what's up with? When I saw that, I was like, man, how'd y'all get Charmin over there doing the electric slide? That girl, she's an introvert. She ain't doing electric slide.
What you mean? See, it's so crazy. You think I'm introverted? I mean, look, I have my moments, right? I guess in the work environment, I am work, I am business. But when you get to know me, there's some other stuff there, right? And so
I didn't say that. I didn't say it wasn't other stuff there.
I don't come off as introverted to people who like really know me, right?
Who knows you? Well, you got to get to know you. I didn't mean it like that, because I come up to you and speak to you at all, even at any time, and I'm showing you love all the time.
You're right, Carrie. You're right. Like I had a coach tell me that his daughter said, "Wow, she looked like she was angry when I was watching." I was like, "Really?" I wasn't, because that kid, like, I would take her in a heartbeat, and I'm sitting there like salivating, like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, I wish she'd come to Cal. So like, my face is my face, whatever it is. But to answer your question, we had like a welcome back party for all the student athletes, and they had food and they had music, and I love being around student athletes. And so I don't get to engage with, women's water polo and soccer and lacrosse, and all of these, and track and field and all these other sports as much. And like, they're out there. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna dance with y'all. Like, let's go. Like,
I saw that.
I'm me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like, oh, that's the women's basketball. No, like, this is Cal. We're family. And I want to engage with as many student athletes as I possibly can, and have them know that, like, I was once a student athlete. I care about them outside of how many goals they score or buckets they make or whatever. And I think the more that I can just be me in those types of spaces, the more that's evident to everyone here at Cal.
Okay, I got you. So let's talk a little recruiting and portal and transfer. Everybody want to hear about it. Let's keep it limited, because I'm getting so tired of talking about transfer portal and all that stuff, because it's just so part of the game. But the game is becoming so actional. Everybody talking about the bag and stuff. So and I know a few years ago you struggled a little bit getting that NLI, but now things are starting to turn around for you guys. How do you feel about that? And how do you roll up in there with roster reconstruction in terms of doing that, redoing your roster?
Yeah, I mean, Megan helps a lot, right? She's filtering a lot of conversations, and then having a lot of meaningful conversations with players once they get here. This is what I want. I don't want a bidding war going back and forth. I'm happy to pay. Like, my AD is supporting women's basketball. We have rev share money. We are competitive. We can take care of student athletes in that way. But what I don't want is, well, school A offered this amount of money, so what are you going to do? No, which school do you want to go to? Because you're deciding to go to school A just because they offered more money than us.
Can't be about that. I'm trying to educate these people on this.
Next year, school C is going to offer more money than school A, and they're going to be in the portal. So the conversation I want to have is, Coach, I'm feeling your program. I want to be at Cal. I want to play for you. I loved watching your team. I loved being at your house, hanging out with the team. But like, the money, we got to talk about it, because it's a real thing for me, and I need to talk about the money. I need more money. Then I'm going to have a conversation with you. Okay, let's talk about what works. What do you need for your family? What do you need to feel valued? Not what do you need for me to beat out the other school?
Right.
Because I'm always going to be trying to beat out the other school.
So I want
people who want to be at Cal. I want you to want to be at Cal, and then I'll make the money right.
Right. Well, I try to educate the girl dads on the show, and I talk to them off the air about what's important, and you cannot go in there about money all the time. Your work ethic, your integrity, the things that you do will dictate how much you're worth. And you go in there and not where I want to coach, first of all, that I vibe with, and I want to get my degree, and I want to be able to be at a place where, first of all, I want to play. So if you can play and all of these type of things that you want, all of the pros that you want, then if you're good at those things, the money will come. And that's what I tell the dads, it'll come. Stop sweating the money.
For sure. For sure.
So that's good stuff. All right. Well, I'm good with that. So let's talk about you and going up against your girl, Duke. And I know y'all friends. Y'all go back a little bit. How was that?
My girl at Duke, you said?
Yeah.
You talking about Karen?
Coach, yeah.
Okay.
Y'all go back?
Yeah, I mean, Karen and I have never really played against each other or played together.
Yeah.
I know her, because of, her role in USA basketball, her role with the NBA. Like, I have a lot of respect for what she's accomplished in our game, but we have never been teammates or anything like that.
No, I know that. Okay, I know that.
I think like right now she's doing really well at Duke, and being the USA basketball and all of that. Like, I think those are great honors for her, and I'm super happy for her and what she's able to accomplish. And right now, like that's what we're trying to do, is to get to that level. I'm honest in recruiting. I'm like, yeah, Duke's ahead of us today, but I want you to come and help us beat Duke, right? Like, that's the whole point. It was, similar in the Pac-12, Stanford. We weren't fronting like we were better than Stanford, but we caught them a couple times, right? When we had our squads, and
you caught Oregon State once or twice too.
Yeah, so that's how it works. I think what's impressive about Kara is that whenever you come into an institution like that and take over a program, I think she had similar timing where she had to deal with COVID. They opted out of a season, and there's some legendary coaches prior to. She's put her name on that. She's made it hers. She's made it her program, and you have to respect that.
Well, I do. I watched her. I peeled back the layers with her too. But yeah. So you tell me, going into the ACC this year, what you expect from Cal. I know you want to win it, being the top teams, go to the tournament, and all of that. But what do you expect, and how's the roster looking? I know one of the girls you brought in from Texas, so definitely.
Yeah, Taylor. Yeah, we're excited. We've got 4 freshmen. Puff being a McDonald's All-American, running the point for us. We, as I mentioned, the 3 transfers that we got. I expect to be back in the NCAA tournament, and I expect to be in the top half of the ACC. We start off with a doozy, playing Vanderbilt in Paris, and that's going to be really challenging.
MB.
We have what we call Commodore challenges in practice every day, getting ready. We know Blake's is going to be a handful, and Shay, that's a buddy of mine. We coached USA basketball. We were like court coaches together.
Yeah.
And so we got to know each other, and I'm really happy for her and how the success they had last year, and it'll be fun to compete against one another for the first game. I'm excited. I'm hoping Shanae and Andrea Carter and Elle Duncan will be on the call in the studio, right? Like, they
want to go to Paris. They should come on and go to Paris.
That's what we want. We want to be in those games that are the spotlight games for women's basketball. And this is what I tell the recruits. Look, we got invited to play in Paris. That's a big step for us. That shows you the trajectory of our program and where we're headed. We've got Missouri in the ACC SEC Challenge. That's going to be a tough
Kelly
one.
Harper.
Yeah,
you got Kelly coming in. I had Kelly on the show, and I don't know if you follow me on YouTube. There was some good stuff that we were talking about too. So, that's good that you got Missouri.
Yeah, we've got some challenges, and we need to be ready.
I'm banking on you to get Missouri. Kelly. I'm sorry. I'm banking on my homegirl from the Yay area. Okay? I'm pulling for Cal on that one.
I don't talk mess. We gonna show up. We gonna compete.
I gave it to Stephen A. I'm pulling for Cal.
Okay, appreciate it.
Well, I know you're busy, and we got to land this plane. But one last question, if I don't think of something else, what do you want your legacy to be at Cal? You've been there as an assistant, the head coach.
Yeah.
And do you want to coach in the W? Because and we talked about it very little bit, and Q and I are going to do a little segment on the WOCs, not in the WNBA. So what do you want your legacy to be at Cal? Do you want to coach in the W? And what do you think? What's your legacy at Cal?
Yeah. I say that my mission in coaching is to help young women develop into the best version of their authentic self. That's really what it is. And I think if I'm doing that, then I'm going to feel good when I step away from this. I did spend some time with the New York Liberty coaching there, and it was
I know that.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. And I could see myself being back in the W at some point, but right now I want this program to be the best that it can be under my leadership. And I have a great staff helping me right now. And I think we have so much more that we can accomplish together. Our hashtag, we talk about being made for more. And that's what we're headed towards. We can do more. So not done yet. Lots to do in helping shape young women in whatever ways they need us to be there for them, and hopefully winning games and cutting down nets along the way.
Well, that's good stuff. Well, also, when I come to Cal, don't radio silence me, because I want to come in and watch the practice or something and learn. I ain't coaching. I'm not coaching anymore, but I still like being around basketball. So when I call you on your phone, don't be like sending me the voicemail.
Anytime you come check us out. Come through. It's an open door. So thank you.
All right, well, we'll do, man. I want to land this plane. And also at the end, guys, I like to talk about this, the PSA level. Girl dads, African-American men, is high level of PSA. You got to get your PSAs checked before you have prostate cancer. So I want all my girl dads out there to get your level checked. Don't be emotional about this stuff. If you need to talk to me about it, I've been through it in terms of testing and biopsies and all of that. Catch it early if it's anything, and that way you can live a good life and be here for your daughters. All right? Say, we're out of here, but I missed one question. Y'all don't know my girl kick your butt too. She karate. She be doing all kind of, you better pull her up on YouTube. You might see her fighting or something.
Love the moves.
All right, Coach. I see you later. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Harry.